From humble beginnings working in the family business to weekend racing at the track, David Butler spent the vast majority of his life immersed in Pontiacs. Butler Performance is a family-owned and operated business, homegrown from the love of classic cars and racing since the 1960s. Butler built his business on the desire to power the cars they love, to drive and race with high-quality, cutting-edge parts, built by the car lovers and racers that actually drove them. Butler becoming a business naturally came by spending lots of times at the drag strip and car lot with other performance racing and classic car enthusiasts. His dad is Jim Butler and his brothers Rodney. Please welcome Dave Butler.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for everybody for coming in, and I want to thank GTOAA for inviting us. Tom in particular, and all the guys. Really appreciate you having us here. This is what our business is all about. You guys, these events, this hobby. And is that volume all right? Is that a little louder? Yeah. All right. So again, thanks for having us, and thanks for everybody here that supports the clubs and supports these organizations. And again, that's what we built our business around, and that's what this hobby is all about. It's not just about the cars that we have and showing them, and it's also about these relationships and you know, there's just the fun times and everything we do. And we're lucky to be able to have a business that is based on you guys and this kind of thing. And so, Bob said, a lot of you probably know Jim Butler, my dad. Started our business along with me and my brother, and he's been to a lot of these conventions. He spoke at several over the years, and he always enjoyed doing that. And he's really, we still get a lot of guys that remember him talking at these conventions, and he still doing the same thing, still talking every day, which is what he loves to do. So he's probably a lot better at this than I am. He's got the gift for it for sure, but he still does it back at the shop. A lot of people ask about Jim on a regular basis when he goes to these events and what he's doing, and he's still there every day on the phone, answering emails, and like I said, talking a lot. That's what he loves to do. So but talking Pontiacs, and again, that's how he helped us. That's how he built his business, and that's what he's instilled in me and Rodney, that it's not just about the parts or the pieces or the engines. It's about the relationships that we build, and it's about the hobbies. None of you have to be here. None of you have to have these cars. None of you have to build an engine or buy these parts. It's what you want to do, and that's something that Jim's always instilled in us, that we need to really appreciate that. Again, this is our business in particular is amazing that we get to do what we love. And, you know, you hear that all the time. That's what you want to grow up and do, and be able to do that. So like I said, Dad, he couldn't make the trip up, and he doesn't leave the grandkids very much. He likes to stay home. He likes them when we leave, actually, I think, so he gets more time with the grandkids. So that's why he's not been at the events very much, but he's still at the shop, and like I said, on the phone, helping people. That's what he spends most of his day doing now. Jim's just doing answering tech questions, whether by email or over the phone, and I have guys come up and tell me all the time that they talk about Pontiac parts for a few minutes, and they spend an hour and a half talking about the world or religion or politics or anything else. So if any of you know Jim, you may have had those conversations with him too. But anyway, like I said, glad to be here and glad to have the opportunity to do this. When Tom and I were talking about this, he mentioned he'd like to talk about the state of Pontiac Performance, kind of where it's been, where we are now, where we're going with it, and you know, I was thinking the first show that we ever did as a family and as a business at the same time, because we were already in business, was the GTOAA. I just graduated high school. It was 1993, and we went to GTOAA convention in Indianapolis. And he said I I was young, and we've been racing. My brother and I started racing when we were 12 at our local track, and so this was the first time we pulled across country, went to an event, and it was the GTOAA, and up at Indy. So huge event for us, and but it was a lot like it is now, as far as we were immediately welcomed, and I didn't know a lot of the guys. We were kind of the outsiders, and but it didn't matter. We were welcome there, and I think that's why these events are still and continue to grow and be successful. And so when we came to Indy, we actually went to the track and raced, and because that's what we were racers. We didn't, we didn't. I don't know if we even went to the car show or not at the time. And so when we got there, it was we did have the idea that there were racers, and then there were car show guys. Two separate groups, and that was okay. But again, talking about how the hobbies changed and how the business has changed over the years, that's definitely a lot different. I was thinking back to the end. We had our drag cars, and there were the show car guys. So over time, that has definitely changed quite a bit. And the guys who came together, it seems like, and that's just good for the hobby, and good for Pontiac Performance in general. So when we showed up back then, as far as on the performance end, again, that's what we were doing. There were some guys we followed in magazines. I hear that from guys now that they followed us in magazines or on TV, but I remember getting there, and there was a couple of cars well known at the time. Glory Days, G65, GTO, and Dan Whitmore built the engine. There was classical gas came along, and I was just amazed to see those cars. I saw them in High Performance Pontiac magazine, and as probably everybody here knows, that's what we look forward to every time that came out. I memorized the pages from the time I was a kid, and so it was really neat to come to an event and see those guys, see those cars. And, in my eyes, they were famous at the time. Because they'd been in the magazine, and like I said, Dan Whitmore was the engine builder. He's recently passed away, which is definitely a loss to the Pontiac community. And so when we were coming up, there was Nunzi on the East Coast, amazing engine builder, extremely smart guy. And there's Warrior Racing in the Midwest, sold a lot of parts and things, and HO out on the West Coast. And those guys all had different parts of the market, but from early on, us Pontiac guys we had parts availability. We had guys making new products and really pushing the market for it. I think that's why we have today, 40 years after there really should be anything made for a Pontiac. We have more stuff coming out literally, it seems like every month. And that started with Nunzi and HO and Warrior. And then I think as we came through, we got Kaufman's, and then on the restoration side, Amy's Performance and Performance Years, and so many people, that have really made what we do so much easier, so much more fun, and have our, and the main thing is have parts available to do what we want to do with these cars. So, but I was thinking about Dan Whitmore. He was really somebody that we looked up to. He was just a great guy. And Nunzi, talked to him several times over the years. So those are the guys that kind of inspired us, and Dad even coming up that we kind of looked to, and all those businesses are, they're not in business anymore, but they paved the way for us and all the other guys that are still doing it now on the performance end. And of course Steve Ames, has been around forever with things, and now Kevin, and those are good friends of ours, and that's been a great partnership too. And that's what we're, I tell people a lot, we get a lot of calls that somebody asks, do you have this for a Pontiac engine? Do you have that for a Pontiac engine? And the simple answer is we have every single piece for the Pontiac engine now, which is amazing. And not just one version of it. Usually there's 2 or 3 options, maybe much more than that. And again, for an engine like ours that Pontiac decided to do away with, so many years ago, that really is amazing. And that's something that is still today, I think about a lot, that why do we have so many parts and pieces for the Pontiac engine? Why do we have so many cylinder heads available? So many, you name it. Like I said, when somebody calls and asks, do you have this? We have every piece for the engine anymore. And, it comes down to the guys like I said, Nunzi and Warrior and HO that started back then, and then with the Ames Performance and Performance years, and then us, and the guys that do the specialty stuff, that come along, that have been able to just keep making parts, making new things come out. And a lot of that comes from like the GTO Association, having these conventions, getting everybody together, and keeping the interest up. Keeping the interest up in Pontiacs and GTOs, and so it's been amazing to watch. Because on mine, it's all I've ever done. I've never had another job. I've never done anything else. It's been Pontiac as long as I can remember. Because I started racing when I was 12. And before that, we were taking cars apart, selling body parts, and stripping down GTOs and things. So it's all I know. But I'm amazed today how far it's come. Just the what's available, and it's still growing. That's the real amazing piece, and it's something everybody should be proud of. And the GTOAA is a big part of that, of keeping this thing alive, and also looking forward to the newer new GTOs and new Pontiacs. Those are Pontiac enthusiasts, but they're car enthusiasts, and so that's an important part of this hobby moving forward. Keeping it going. And so, what I'm going to talk about a little bit is, back up. When we came into this in our business, there were, like I said, there were racers and there were show cars. That seemed to be two groups, and they didn't always get along. It seemed like, there was 2 separate groups, but through these events and through parts availability over time, what we've seen is that those are kind of coming together now. So we have some beautiful show cars down here, concourse cars. There's also beautiful show quality race cars. But now we see a lot more of a mixture. Whether these are sport cars that we see down here that you don't know have stroker kits in them. And they have hydraulic roller cams instead of just flat tappets and ported heads and things like that. We got several customers that, they get the cars, they show the cars, but they also drive the cars. I don't know if Don ever, I see him in here or not. He's got a 60, a GTO down there, 65, I believe it is, with a Ram 5 engine. And he bought the car like guys did. The GTOs raced it, blew the engine, went to the dealership, bought a Ram 5, put it in. He's raced the car and ran the car ever since. Well, he's restored the car again now. It's down there. It's beautiful. It's immaculate. Last time I talked to him, he told me, he said, well, I'm waiting to get tired of showing it. I'm going to get out and do some more burnouts with it then, and so that's cool. That's like you said, it's not just a show car. It's not just a race car anymore. And that's where the hobbies moved. There are both of those two things, and there are some cars that I believe probably shouldn't be done that way. They need to be show pieces because they're so rare. But it's also nice to see that the guys, regardless of you guys, how nice the car is. It seems there's a trend of really wanting to enjoy the car, as far as on the street, running the car, you want it to perform. And that's where we've seen the trend move into more, maybe not something as custom as this. I believe that's the Jim Winger's edition car there. But an engine like this is obviously tri-power, but it's got aluminum heads. I think we removed the logos, painted it. So not trying to fool anybody, obviously, but it's still more of that nostalgic look, more of that original look when you pop the hood. But it's aluminum head. It's a hydraulic roller cam. It's got a March serpentine system on it. And so in this engine, I believe that's a 500-inch engine, with a tri-power on it. So what's happened with the hobby over the years is with the availability of parts from all these companies, it's really opened it up to do anything you want to do with the Pontiacs. I know something that Dad used to say, guys would call and want to know, well, should I do this or should I do that? Somebody told me I shouldn't build the car this way, or I should do this to the engine. And Dad always said over and over, well, first off, who paid for the car? Well, I did. Who's going to pay for the engine or the upgrades? Well, I am. But you're the only person that really, you're the only thing that really matters here. So do what you want to with it, and enjoy it. So going along with that, these are some companies that we've dealt with. And I told you that you guys all know Runzi and HO and Warrior, and after that you got Ames, of course. It has always been a big driving part of the industry, making parts and just making things available. But you got specialty companies like BOP Engineering. I don't know what we would do without his rear seals now. As far as keeping oil leaks out of these engines, that's one of the best things. But he does so much stuff all over at Ram Air. We've got Kaufman's, on the performance end of it. Performance years, Chris, and now he's still doing GTO, GTOAA, and his other businesses. So it's really been amazing that there's so many people willing to put so much time and effort into our hobby, into our cars, and makes it really easy to build any kind of car you want anymore. And put a whole package together where it's an overdrive, the EFI, overdrive trans. There's so many options out there now that we never had before. So it's a good time. And that's led to where we are as far as performance goes now. It is now. These companies have worked hard to put these products out there. And like I said, you've got different companies making different things, and so there's rivalries and there's competition. But I tell you, I talked to some friends of mine in other markets, other businesses, and I tell you, they really, it's not as active and friendly as some of the Pontiac guys. There are 99% of the Pontiac guys in the Pontiac business we deal with, we get along with. We go to the shows and we do business back and forth. And so instead of trying to cut each other's throat, we work together for the most part. Like I said, most of the companies in this business have it. All that's done is just make more availability, better parts. The competition side of it makes us all better. But working together really is I think, brought the Pontiac performance and the Pontiac hobby above a lot of others. All my life I've always run Pontiacs. We go to the tracks everywhere. Not Pontiac events, but we race all over. The worst thing for somebody to say to me is, man, that runs good for a Pontiac. I've heard that all my life, literally the time I was a kid. It runs pretty good for a Pontiac. That's all right for a Pontiac, And I've never been so tired of hearing anyone's phrase, I think, in my life. And so, with all these parts now and everything that all these companies, not just us painters, all these companies have done, we don't hear that much anymore. It just runs good. It just sounds good. And I think a lot of you with cars can probably relate to that, you know, the Pontiacs anymore, they don't get just put off to the side. They pay attention now, for sure. So moving forward, this is actually Paul Delfield from Primary Restoration. A lot of you know Paul, and this is a good example of kind of progression we've seen. Paul's car is absolutely correct as far as the outside of the car and the interior. You know, it's beautiful. It is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. But what he's done, he's put a 421 actual Super Duty 980S, 421 Super Duty engine in the car. And again, it's original. The engine is from the outside, so obviously not original in the car, but it's period correct. If you had a GTO, it's probably what you wish you could do then. Put a 421 SD in it. We also put a trim 5-speed in the car. And so he's got all of the original engine, transmission, everything to put the car back. Didn't cut the car, didn't do anything to it. He stored the original numbers matching stuff as far as I know for the car. And so to me, that's kind of the best of both worlds. He hasn't hurt the originality of the car, so he's got every piece of it, which is important for a car like this. To me, it's important. It is to a lot of you. But he's driving the car, he enjoys it with a 5-speed. So he's got a hydraulic roller cam. We lowered the compression so he can pull up the pump anywhere, put fuel in it, and have fun with the car, just cruise it. And this is where we've really seen the hobby going. Again, this is not taking anything away from the original cars. I love looking at these cars. I spent a lot of time down there last night looking at the original cars. They amaze me. But then I also like seeing some of these other cars mixed in with that, you know, and different levels, from exact original cars to something like this is period correct, but he's made it a leisure drive, and then we move into other levels. Here's another example. This is an Edelbrock head. We painted the heads. A lot of times we remove the logos when the customer asks us to. A stock type valve cover, tri-power. But this again is a hydraulic roller. It was a 389, I believe. We stroked it to a 450, 455 actually, I think. Again, he's not trying to fool anybody with the heads, but when he pops the hood, he wants it to look original, but he wants a lot of power with the car, you know. And so this thing's it's making over 500 horsepower, easily run on pump gas. We use Mike Watson, Mike's tri-power to build all of our tri-power, excuse me. And he does an excellent job. He's down here, I believe, and that's another thing going back to this hobby and this business. We can't do everything. We're not the best at everything by any means. And so we love the fact that we can go to other Pontiac guys like Mike and say, we don't build tri-powers for a living. We're not an expert at it. Jim, he's always had tri-power cars. He knows how to do it. There's somebody better. Mike's one of those guys. So we go to Mike. We send people to Mike, or if we're building an engine, that's who we use. And again, that's part of this hobby. What's great about it, that not all the other brands out there have. We have a really close-knit group, and like I said, 99% of everybody that wants to work together, and that just makes it better for all of us. So, I'm going to go through a progression, kind of the engines and the performance and the different levels that we're seeing, and kind of the trends that we're seeing. When we get after this, of course, I'll open it up, and I want to hear feedback. What you guys are looking for, what you wish was out there, what you wonder why we or some of these other companies don't offer or do different. So as we're going through this, when we get done, we'll open it up, and of course, any technical questions, anything that you had going on, I'm glad to talk to you. But I also want feedback to know where we go from here. That's the great thing about these conventions and getting together. We learn from that. All these businesses out here do that. So talking to Steve Ames over the years, he's always so open to listening to people. He's told me that you got to keep your ear open and listen to what guys are looking for. he's obviously been great at it. And so he's another, I consider a mentor of mine, and I always listen to what he says, and it's work. Here's another step. So we go from more of a, we have you've got guys that are doing obviously stock restorations, exactly stock. And you've got guys doing what I said before, strokers, completely stock on the outside. I talked to someone last night with a GTO downstairs. Absolutely original. Just perfect car. But he was talking about his stroker kit that he's got in it, his hydraulic roller. He might want to upgrade it, put a little more cam in it, things like that. But from the outside, just the car's perfect, just perfect and completely original. And I love that kind of thing. So we've got those to what we showed you before, where it's not original, but it looks like a Pontiac. I guess you expect a Pontiac to look. You pop the head, pop the hood, see painted heads and all that. And then we step up maybe to something newer, obviously aluminum heads, marked certainty system. This is the EFI, and that's where we really see on the performance market. That's where we see that going now is EFI. Again, one of the biggest things we talked about here this weekend with guys from the GTOs with the EFI systems. Main thing, the availability is there. There's, like I talked about before, there's so many options now. It's amazing. The price has come way down. Fast systems, for example, they were $1,800, $1,900, almost $2,000. Now that same system's $895. So that's where they start at. Holly's got a system like that. Pontiac, several of them. So there's a lot of options there, and it's really getting more cost effective. And I think that's why the Pontiacs in general, but the hobby in general is growing so much, is because parts availability, prices are actually getting better on some of this stuff. And so that's another level, probably, 550, 600 horsepower engine with that intake, so probably 600. Pump gas, hydraulic roller, street, it's got all accessories on it. And, with the EFI, so it's easy to drive. Next, I guess another level up from there. This is one that we just got done with. It's actually one of the Trans Am's show car's going to SEMA, but it's also you guys are going to drive it. And that's what we're hearing so much of, and I think a lot of you guys are doing this. Talking to a guy down there this morning, loaded up a 65 GTO, beautiful blue car, just immaculate. Throwing luggage in the back and fixing to head back to Michigan, drive it back to Michigan. And I think that's just awesome. That's what it's about. Love doing that. So love seeing that. And we're seeing more of that than ever, where it's it's not just a trailer race car that you only go race the tracks, not just a trailer show car. Like I said, we've done both of those, love them, but there's also a lot in the middle now. And so this is another example. This is going in the Trans Am, but he's going to drive the car. He's in Texas. He's going to drive it a lot. So it's going to be a show car. He's also going to do some autocross and road course type things with it. And so that's another progression, with the Pontiacs. When we talk about everything you can get for your Pontiac, the suspension, your transmissions, it just opens it up so that we can do anything that anybody else can do with any major car. We always talk about Ford guys and Chevy guys because we've all listened to them over the years, talk us into building a Ford or a Chevy, or try to talk us into building a Ford or a Chevy, tell us why they're so much better than Pontiacs. I'm pretty sure like you've heard that at some point if you own a Pontiac. I don't think there's any way you can own one and not have heard that, But again, as we're moving forward, and you can build engines like this, it kind of shuts those guys up a little bit, It's there's really nothing you can do with a Chevy or a Ford we can't do with our Pontiacs anymore, and that's where we want it to be. Like I said, going back to that, what I told you I've always heard all my life, it runs good for a Pontiac. So we're really not hearing that as much as used to everywhere we went. Every time we raced our cars, that's what we heard. So we don't hear that much anymore. So they just run good, like I said. This is Jim Wanger's car. Another example of, again, talking about progression. It's a EF5, 505, making 650 to 700 horsepower. It was a special edition car, so Wanger's was done a few years ago. But we see a lot of that. You can see it's got some suspension. It's got, of course, the overdrive transmission, EF5. Serpentine system. And so it's really bringing the Pontiacs up and making them modern. If you want to go that route, we do carbureted Pontiacs and tri-powers, although we love them. And a lot of you guys do too. But again, it's about the options. You can do that, you can do this, or you can do anything in between now. And that's where years ago, that's where Dad saw the whole hobby and the business going, was the fact that you can build anything with a Pontiac. And it's been tough with years because the parts availability wasn't there, but now it is. And that's been fun to watch and fun to be a part of for sure. So just another example of a blower. This is 820 horsepower, I think. Guy was really specific about what he wanted. This engine's not in that car, with two examples of a similar engine. And this is definitely not for everybody in here. It's not for me, to be honest with you. It's not what I'm looking for. This guy loves it. It's exactly what he wanted. Same thing, I had the conversation with the guy. He said, man, I want to build a Pontiac, but I know I just can't do what I want to do. My buddies have Chevys, and they told me I got to go that route. He called telling me that. It's not asking, he was telling me, but he was hoping I would say something, give him some kind of hope, because he's got a Pontiac. And so he told me what he wanted to do, and this is what he wanted. But he really had no idea that he could have this engine, 820 horsepower. It's got air, you can't see over there, so you can on the top. It's got air conditioning, And so he's going to cruise around. I'm going to put me and my wife are going to just drive around in this car and cruise around. We'll smoke the tires. I want to smoke the tires. And I love the way a blower looks and sounds. And after we talked about everything, and he realized he could have this type of power, and he could run on pump gas, have EF5, and have all his accessories, and drive around with air conditioning. He was very, very happy to do it with Pontiac. And like I said, he called saying, I don't think I can do this, because all his buddies told him, you gotta get a Chevy to do that, you can't do anything like that with a Pontiac. So, it's just another example of where we come, I don't say what you can do with Pontiacs. This is I guess the big thing now, as far as hiring performance goes. This is the turbos on it, this is a turbo engine. But again, it's a street engine. You can see it's got air conditioning, compressor, alternator, power steering. This engine made 1,400 horsepower, boost turned up. It made a little over 1,000 horsepower on 92 octane. Again, the EF5 going in a street car. I was adamant, I'm going to drive this car. I'm going to cruise around this car. And the same thing a few years ago. No one would ever consider doing that with a Pontiac engine, because in most people's eyes it just couldn't be done. So this one is an aftermarket block. A couple of those other ones have been too, which has been a great thing for us and for anybody in the hobby that really wants to build at a higher level. Because first off, like with us, we were building 455s or 400s or whatever it was, and we were racing them, and we were breaking them. And because when you push them this hard, that's going to happen. And to us, that's a waste. There's only so many of those blocks still here, and we want to save all of them if we can. And so with the aftermarket blocks coming out, there's, you can, not just one, we've got 2 options of aftermarket blocks, which again is amazing for what most people would consider a small market. It's awesome to have choices between all Pontiac and Kaufman. They've both done a great job. But example of what we can do now that we couldn't do several years ago, we can do it with Pontiac now, you know, so many years later. The same thing with the heads. You know, Vic Elderbrock just passed away a few weeks ago, and you know, we were lucky to know him and work with him over the years. He was really pushed by everyone in his company that there was no need to build a Pontiac head back in the mid-90s when he did that. And Arnie Beswick played a big role in that because he knew Vic personally, had been asking for years, and telling him that there was definitely a market for Pontiac head. Of course, Arnie he's one because he wanted aluminum heads. But he knew the market was there too. And talking to Vic and the guys at Elderbrock later, you know, that's been a great piece for him. But what that did, when Elderbrock came on board in the mid-90s, before that Larry Winslow was doing aluminum head. We worked with him, you know, used some of his stuff, but you know, Larry, it was a struggle because it was, you know, trying to have something like that made from scratch is just a huge deal, especially then. Harder than ever. But that still got Elderbrock to looking at it a little closer because he put the time and the work in to bring a head out. And that helped Elderbrock notice it. So, you know, maybe there's a market for this. And then see guys like Arnie pushing, making that happen. That really opened the market up because a couple of years later we had these aftermarket blocks. And now we've got multiple heads from multiple vendors, whether it's you know, high ports or D ports, round ports, ram air 5s from again, 2 different guys making ram air 5s. You know, and then there's always competition and rivalries and things, but again, it makes both better and it gives you guys options. So again, talking to other guys in the industry and the business, the guys that we buy parts from, some bigger companies even, they're so amazed at what we have for Pontiacs, what we can do, what's offered. They're surprised. And what it is comes down to you guys that have just stuck with it, pushed it, promoted it, wanted it, never gave up on Pontiacs all these years. And it's amazing what we have. It amazes the other guys in the industry out there for sure. So again, a level of, you know, an example of a high level Pontiac, what we can do now. So that's going in a street car, just making 1,000 horsepower pump gas, and 1,400 he turns the boost up. He's going to cruise around the street with it. Road race car, Roger Bolger in Switzerland. Lots of Pontiacs overseas, lots of nice Pontiacs. Restored show cars, modified cars. It's amazing how popular Pontiacs are over there. They love them, just can't get enough of them. And so he's in Switzerland. And when we talk about what Pontiacs can do and running good for a Pontiac, you know, this guy beats some exotic cars, high-level race cars. They're built for those Formula One tracks, and I love it because to them this is just a beast, just a big boat. I mean, it's just big, heavy, obnoxious to those guys. And when he passed with that old Pontiac Screamer, I watch a lot of his videos and things. I love it. I love it. It kills a lot of those guys with exotics to see this big old, loud, wide Trans Am, heavy Trans Am coming passing and stuff. So love to see that kind of thing. And it's just been, again, fun to watch, be in the business and see what we can do now. And a full truck GMC came with a Pontiac in it, and so he was able to run that. So actually a full truck, same thing. He beats Hemis, big Ford stuff. He pulls against a Kazi Ford and some big Hemis, and he beats them with Pontiac, runs well. And so, like I said, these are modified Ram Air 4 heads. on this engine. He has to run those heads. He's at a disadvantage compared to the other guys, and still beats them. So again, it's something to be proud of. Something we're proud of, that whether we build it or not, just the fact that, like I said before, anything you want to do with Pontiac, you can do it now. Things are available, and there's no reason not to do it. Mike Cooper's new Pro Line car, he's racing this weekend. It's the 2,200 horsepower deal with a Pro Charger. It's got the all Pontiac heads. So many options we have these days. This is one that's getting a lot of attention, which is great for Pontiacs. I had the conversation, had it several times this weekend, that they're glad this Chief Justin Scherer on Street Outlaws. Many of you probably have seen it, heard about it, watched the show or whatever. But what the big thing with what he does, he's back in GTO now, 70 GTO. I didn't have a picture of the new car. But what I hear over and over is just the reason people pay attention to him so much is because he's doing with Pontiac. He's told me that. That's the biggest thing that he hears. That's who his identity now. And that's rare. There's a lot of other guys on TV shows and on this show in particular that run fast, but you never hear about their engine. You don't hear a lot about, they're not really branded. He's branded to Pontiac. And it's kind of like what you guys, everybody, we're Pontiac guys. In the guys you run around with drive, have other cars, Camaros or Fords, Mustangs, whatever it is. You're the Pontiac guy. I'm sure that's what you're known for, and it kind of stands out because we always like that. Obviously, you guys do too. You're here, you got them, and that's another thing that even today at this level and with him on TV and doing all that, he's the Pontiac guy. And the fact he's back in the GTO, he loves that. We get calls every day just to tell us, hey, tell him we whether they like him or not, whether they even like the show or not, that he's back in the GTO for the one thing. He's kept a Pontiac in. We get calls and emails constantly. Have this conversation here at this show, everywhere we go. That's the number one thing that again, you can take a Pontiac and you can beat anybody in the world. You can run with anybody. You can do anything you want to do with it. So this is something we're really proud of. And again, not for us, just we're proud for everybody in this hobby, everybody that's brought things to market and helped get this where it is. So we love seeing all the new parts, whether we sell them, whether it's from a competitor. It really doesn't matter. It's added to what we can do with Pontiacs, what we can do with our cars, and moving things forward. So now this is really what this has done, is just brought Pontiac. So many years after the fact that there shouldn't be anything on the Pontiacs anymore. It should be, has been. Brand is going right. We hear that all the time, and it's still just coming back to the front. So it just shows that guys, all of us with Pontiacs, it's in our blood. We love it, and it just shows a passion for it. And we have the other guys really paying attention to it. So moving forward, we from Pontiac to the newer Pontiacs, from traditional Pontiacs to the newer Pontiacs, something we've been doing on a limited basis now, and we've got calls for it for years and years. And I know I've seen a lot of new model GTOs out here, and I've talked to guys over and over that have an older GTO. I think Tom Oxford, we were talking about that earlier with him, that maybe have a 66 GTO and 06 GTO in the garage. And as far as our hobby goes, and this club goes, Pontiac Performance goes, that's part of it, and that's part of the future. It's part of bringing new guys in, part of keeping the excitement alive in what we do. And so we've been excited to do some of that and get into it. Like I said, on a limited basis. We've been so busy with our traditional Pontiac stuff. I've got a separate guy that really heads that up. That's what he specializes in. And but at the same time, we were getting calls for years and years. Got a call, so I got a GTO and I want to do something with the engine, want to make it run better. Okay, what do you got? Let's know before GTO. We don't have anything for those. Well, isn't that responsible? You're Pontiac guys, right? I've got a Pontiac. Why can't you help me? You know. And so we listened to that, we heard that for years, and we missed those. You know, we had just turned those guys away, and we thought, you know what, this is a natural progression. This is where it's going, and so again, we brought a guy in that specializes in that, and we're starting to grow that business going. And like I said, it's an important part to keep the hobby growing, to keep the club growing, and you know, again, it brings excitement with a lot of the younger crowd, but also, like I said, the older. You know, all of us will have. I've had a new model Trans Am also, and so a lot of us have both. And so, like I said, that's a natural progression. We've got a couple of cars down here, and a few in the show field with swaps, with the LS swap, and as far as LS goes and LS swaps, if you call and ask us, to be totally honest with you, I'm never for putting an LS in a GTO. If that's my first option for you would be put traditional Pontiac in it. The fact is, the LS came in a new GTO, and so it is original for a GTO, a new one. And some guys are going to do that. They're going to do something more modern. So maybe some of you guys in here have done some swaps on them. Very, very popular. And so, again, we can help with that if that's what the guys decide to do. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you ask my opinion, I'm going to say, you know what, put a Pontiac in there. But if you want to go LS, we can do that too. But also, we're also focusing on the newer cars. And that's something we're just starting to grow and partner with companies like Chris Pasterson for performance years, now has GTOAA.com. He's bringing out a lot of parts for the new cars, and I've seen some of his stuff out here, and we're selling some of his stuff now and working with him. And again, it just brings more guys into the club, more guys into the hobby, more guys interested in Pontiacs, and that's at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. That's what we want. So that's part of the future of this hobby and club and our business. So we're excited about that, and we have quite a few questions about it, and we're just looking forward to seeing where that goes. So that's most of what I've got now. So I'm going to open it up. There's some questions, feedback, anything we want to discuss. Before I do that, I just want to say again that for me and Jim and Rodney and our family and our organization now, I want to say thanks to all you guys for letting us turn our hobby into a profession. I've never had to do anything else, which is, when I think back on it, it's really amazing that this is all I've ever done, and hopefully it's all I ever do. Same thing with Rodney, and Dad's still doing it, just because he doesn't know anything else. He loves it. He loves talking to people and talking to you and helping people. He really cares about helping people, and whether it's Pontiac related or otherwise. And so I hope I picked up a little bit of that, and Rodney has. But again, I want to thank the GTOAA, thank all of you members and for supporting our business and all of the Pontiac business to make all this possible. This progression of performance that we went through. Without you guys supporting us, we couldn't have any of that. We couldn't do what we're doing. And like I said, it's definitely been a blessing to turn this into a business and something that we get to do every day. So I really loved it. And again, thank you. Thank all of you. Thanks for listening to me today. And if you want to now, we can open it up for question, discussion, feedback, something you'd like to see, questions about what you haven't seen or what you have and why we're doing something, why we're not doing something. So, yes, sir.
David, what's going on with, or what do you recommend with fuel injection? There seems to be a lot of choices out there.
There are.
Self-learning and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the number one thing we talk about this weekend. You and I talked about this a little bit, but that's probably the number one thing right now. It's because it's getting so cost effective. It's getting so easy to do, and it's so readily available. So as far as self-learning systems, what you call your entry-level system, you have FAST. They were the first self-learning system. It's called their Easy EFI. You've got Holly Sniper system, full self-learning system. And you also got Pontiac EFI, which is really, they really came out and kind of changed the market. They're a big reason that Holly came out with their Sniper and that FAST dropped the price on their Easy EFI was because they came out below $1,000, these EFI systems. And at that price point, when you look at a really nice carburetor, and things go along with carburetor inlet kits and things like that, you're really getting close to it. So number one thing is the price and the availability is there. It's self-learning, so it's easy. Like I said, and we got options. Each one has their differences and pros and cons. We do more with fast systems because they were the first one out there, so we've had them from the start. And they're really, when they call it easy EFI, so I tell people they really are easy. I mean, you've got some things you've got to do, but it comes with a handheld, so it's not so you don't tune it with a laptop. You don't take it somewhere and have it tuned. You can do the conversion in your garage. Now, it comes with everything you need. It comes with a fuel system, or we sell, a lot of places do, we sell tanks with pumps in them already. And it comes with the rest of the fuel system in. So you can literally do an EFI conversion in your garage now. That was something that EFI, up until the last couple of years, was a mystery to so many people. Conversion was such a big deal. And it's just not that way anymore. You had to be an expert, and somebody that does this put EFI on your car, it seemed like it, but not anymore. And that is the number one thing we're talking about at these shows. We get a huge amount of calls. You saw several engines had EFI. I told you we're not doing as many EFI engines as carburetor engines, but it's really getting close now, believe it or not. It's that popular. So as far as which system, like I said, we use more of the fast system. The Holly Sniper system is a very good piece. Limited availability, they're back ordered right now and happening. And the Pontiac out there is a nice system. But we've got some systems at the trailer too. If anybody else is interested in seeing them, had a couple of different guys earlier to look at some stuff, touch them, look at the handheld controllers. We'll go through what it takes to do that. But on the performance end, EFI it's here. It is a very, very good way to go if you're really looking just to drive the car, make the car easy to drive, and take out. We all know issues that can happen with carburetors. We love them, we use them all the time and always have. But the EFI is really nice in a lot of applications. So, yes, sir.
On your carburetors that you use for race motors, something like that, what do you use for that?
We typically use
Holly.
out-of-the-box Hollies now. They've got their HP line, XP line. So for a lot of these engines, we haven't really seen a need to go with custom parts. We used to, for years. But Holly highly out of the box stuff in there, especially our HP line and the higher horsepower stuff. It's really, really nice. And when we say out of the box, of course, we'll make a squirter change, jetting change, things like that, and we'll tuning for that engine, but otherwise, we don't do anything else to it. It makes it really easy. Yes, sir?
On your gas tanks with the electric pump built into it,
Yes.
do they resemble the factory gas tank, or are they just like a square box that's bolted?
No, they're stock replacement tanks. When we say stock, they look stock, look like the top stock tanks. They're reproductions, actually, that have been converted over to EFI. Now, we have some others through, like Rick's Hot Rod Shop, Rick's Tanks. They do custom stainless tanks. Somewhat, they'll do stock period, or they'll do, like you're talking about, a box style, custom built. But the tanks that we sell primarily are either stock appearing. They come with the bracket kits and everything. And that is a question that we get a lot, because with EFI, that's what, over the years, you have a tank built. Look like a fuel cell or something, many times. And the pump conversions and things weren't that good. But now it's really, really easy. We keep the tanks in stock. A few of them we'll drop ship, but we've got tanks for all the different Pontiacs basically now with the intake pumps already. So yeah, it looks stock, makes it easy. Yes, sir.
What do you recommend for fuel line for that?
Depends on the horsepower level. Some guys use their stock line. If they have a 3/8 speed and 5/16 return. I'm going to ballpark that up to, say, 500-ish horsepower. That's going to be enough. Then past that, a lot of these kits have an optional fuel line kit that comes with them, and then we would go to a little larger line from there. But a lot of the guys are using their stock lines, but you do have to have a return line. It's another thing. You'll see some returnless pumps advertised. Fast says their pump can be run returnless, but even their techs will tell you it's not recommended. We've never had really good success with it. So you do your return line, but you can use your stock line up to the 455 range, I think, from our experience. That makes it even easier.
Yeah.
But we do have line kits. Yes, sir.
I was told that the front three cam drums on traditional Pontiac motor were drilled from the front and back to a separate drilling from the back. You ever heard of that?
Well, we've actually ran into that on aftermarket blocks. Over the years, we've seen a little issue with that. The Pontiac blocks, I don't know that that's exactly what for sure what they've done. We've had that discussion because
Out of the factory, I mean?
yeah,
Out of the factory.
from GM.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure that they were done. I've never really looked into that. We've had that discussion before because it honestly appears that's the fact. That's the way.
Well, I was told that was part of the problem with my engine a few years ago.
The alignment,
Yeah.
cam bearing alignment.
Slight misalignment in it. And
I'm sorry.
I've had trouble with it for a long time, and I just wondered if that was something.
Well, and we've Pontiac cam bearings, speeding Pontiac cam bearings for guys that haven't done a lot of it. You can't just put them in and hope it fits. First off, these blocks are 40 or 50 years old. They've been abused and overheated. A lot of things have happened to them, and things move around.
Yeah.
And we start, most shops do now, we bake the blocks, and then we shot glass them before we do our magnet flux and sonic tests and everything. And that probably moves things around again, somewhat of a stress relieving type deal. So I think they move around for one thing, because we've always, I'm not going to say we struggled with cam bearings in, but it's not just a straightforward knock them in and the cam falls in. We actually have to cut those battery bearings occasionally, because it's not truly aligned through there from factory. That's just pretty common. We have a lot of shops that we sell kits and things. There are a lot of other shops that maybe do one Pontiac a year, don't do a lot of Pontiacs. That's a call we get often. Is, hey, what's wrong with this block? What's wrong with my cam bearings? But they fit them, and there's no problem. The problem is that they're not fitted. Put the cam in, it's tight, you go to build it anyway. You're gonna wear or spin a cam bearing, definitely. Then you've got the line where the cam bearing with oversized bearings in. If yours is out enough, then that would be one option, would be to line bore the cam tunnel. That would they line bore it out, put it, your line makes it 10,000 total size. Yes, exactly. So if you run into that problem, we run into small misalignments on a regular basis. Again, we kind of chalked it up just to the blocks moving around over 50 years. But it very well could be that they were that way from the factory, off some. Typically new cars, passenger cars, they were broken in and hopefully drove lower RPMs. We don't have the luxury, our guys are ready to take these things out and beat on them, so we don't have time to break cam bearings, so we have to fit them.
Well, I can say that car was personally abused at 167 miles on its odometer, so
Okay.
anything could happen.
Right, exactly. Anything else? Questions or feedback?
Can you tell us about that on the cranks?
Aftermarket cranks?
Cranks, yeah.
As far as what's available, who's making them, that's another huge part of why we can do what we can do with Pontiacs, is the fact that we do have aftermarket cranks. We were struggling in the late 90s, early 2000s. As far as building engines, we were literally running out of 455 cranks. They were old, they were already getting old. Like we were talking about, they've been abused and beat on, and then we were trying to race them and abuse them even more. And breaking them, then we break a crank, we lose a block. So it was a bad situation. So when they came out, that was huge, and it just really opened us up and built so many different combinations. As far as what we've got right now, a lot of guys ask which one's made in America versus made overseas. Well, the answer is there are no Pontiac cranks made in America except for billet crankshafts, which you get a Crowder and Old X and a billet guys. But every aftermarket crank you buy is made overseas. We have this question a lot. I'm not sure if that's what you're getting at, where the cranks come from, what's available, things like that. Very, very common question daily for us. So, I made a discussion, I can't remember who I was talking to about those cranks being made overseas and being made in China. Well, what Eagle does, and I believe Scat does the same thing. I know Scat and Eagle both finish in-house. I've been through Scat's facilities. They finish the things here. They buy the forges overseas. Well, Eagle in particular actually has their own buyers. They buy their own steel. That's a concern about what are you getting from China? What's the part made of? It can look nice when we're done with it. What's the integrity? What's the thing really made of? So something I didn't realize, because they hadn't always done this, they've just gotten big enough over the years they can. This Eagle actually they buy their own steel. They started to buy it themselves. They have their own guys doing this. They ship it to their foundry to get them forged in China that they deal with the same ones. They have guys over there through the whole process. So they verify their steel now to guarantee it's 4340 or whatever it's supposed to be. They have them forged. They bring them here. They sample test even after that, as they should. And then all their finish machines is done here in the States. And so Scat actually gets raw forgings and finishes in their facility. And they've always done that. But Eagles finish their stuff in the States now too.
Does Ohio crank do the same thing?
I don't know if they actually even can source their own steel. I don't know if they're big enough to do that, to be honest with you. But that's another thing. A lot of guys say, well, I don't know Ohio crank is made in America, because it's Ohio crank. Well, if it's a Pontiac crankshaft, it's forged overseas. They don't try to hide that factory thing. It is what it is. People make that assumption when you say Ohio crank is made in Ohio. Well, it's not. They're finished there. They do finish them in-house stuff, like the other guys do. But they're all overseas forges. That's been a huge part of all these different combinations, things we went through here. A lot of these cars that are here that have stroker kits in them, and all the different combinations we build, and the different things you can do with Pontiacs now are because of the cranks. Because we have every imaginable stroke combination now on main side pretty much available. So that's been huge. We can build basically anything we want out of this Pontiac motor now. So. But it's good stuff overall. That's always been a concern. Because honestly, early on, the first, like anything, they had their issues. And we had to, and to us, that's on the builder. If it's a problem, you fix it or send it back. You don't just build it. And but then the integrity was a question. That's something we couldn't see. We actually, early on, had some cranks cut up and sent off, had material tested. But now Eagle and I believe Scat's doing the same thing. So the quality now in finish work is really, really nice. So overall, there's always going to be bad pieces for me. I've had $3,000 billets that had a problem before. They fixed it, of course, but it's just anything can be wrong. But overall, they're very good, and we've got a lot of different options available. Yes, sir. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Seems like it's real hard to buy gas anymore that doesn't have ethanol in it. Is that causing you guys any issues? I've heard ethanol used to rubber hoses and stuff.
It has, but also Holly, for instance, and the EFI companies, that's the question we've had for them. They're changing their gaskets, they're changing a lot of the fuel systems. So they're calling it, ethanol compatible. So, but I wouldn't run straight ethanol or 85 through it. But it doesn't seem to affect them that much. It's definitely something we've had a problem with over the years. But the manufacturers are making changes because we've had ethanol fuel now for so long. So we're not seeing we're not getting a lot of feedback. We're not seeing ourselves a lot of issues with it, to be honest with you.
What do you guys race?
What do we race?
I mean, you race back or what is it now? That's the goal. I don't know where you guys.
Yeah, Rodney's, he just sold his 63 Tempest Pro Mod he's had for years, and he's building a new 69 Pro Mod Firebird. And hope to have it in Norwalk this year. Just not going to happen, so probably later in the year we'll have it done. So his 63 Tempest, the best he went quarter mile, which we don't race quarter very much. We race 8 mile back home where we're at. But he went a 627, I think 228 with that car. And it's an older car. The chassis was built back in the 90s. And he's just tried to upgrade it and improve it where he could. But he was kind of fighting losing battle with it. So he's built on only 69 Firebird Pro Mod car, R5 and everything. So it should be a 5-second car. It'll be a twin turbo, same power plant as the old car. He sold the Tim's Roller, and he's going to pull the twin turbo 482 out of the new car. So I'm building a kind of other end of the spectrum. I'm building a 73 Trans Am right now. More of a like some of these cars we saw on the slides here. It's going to be a street car. Pro cheering top car. I'm going to do Detroit speed suspension front and rear. I'm going to do one of our aluminum blocks. Rock heads on it. I'm going to do the EFI. And I think I've just made a decision to go with twin turbo in too. So I wasn't going to do it, but I think I'm going to go twin turbo. And I'm actually putting a 6-speed automatic transmission. So it's getting something. It'll be a nice car, like a lot of you guys have these beautiful cars down here, but at the same time I'm going to drive the car. And so whatever, I'm not going to make it, I don't care how much horsepower it has, it's going to be something I can drive. Probably something similar to the turbo motor I showed you on the slides. I'm going to have air, if I'm going to have it, I'm going to have air conditioning on it, it's going to have a stereo, full interior. It's going to be a street car, but have overdrive transmission. Like I said, TCI makes it 6-speed automatic. It's a real nice kit, real nice piece now, so I'm going to put that in. So that's what I've got coming up, hopefully finish it over the winter and have it out next spring. Yes, sir.
Contemplating putting metal rack heads on my car.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, do you really do make a camshaft change? I got a 6X head, so it's got a or something like that. No, it doesn't have a cam.
And you're asking, do you have
You
to?
need to change your cam to put the heads on, or is that cam good enough for, it's just a street car, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not necessarily just about putting the heads on there. That's when you make cam, because the cam also really needs to match what you're doing with the car. If it's an automatic, a torque converter, or if it's a manual, the rear gear, how you drive, or the size of the motor. So you may have the right cam for your combination. You're going to pick up a lot of power when you go to aluminum heads anyway. You might consider, with the better flowing heads, maybe just making a rocker ratio change. If you've got 1.5s now,
Yeah.
you might consider going to a 1.65, possibly, or something like that with the L-drop heads. So it's a good time to look at the cam, absolutely. We have that question. We sell a lot of heads by themselves, and that's always a question. So we ask the guy what he's, the customer, what he's got to start with. We need to know about the rest of the combination. A lot of times we don't recommend a cam change. It may be that what he needs, even with the L-drop heads.
And then on the street engine, is it that big a deal to have roller lifters?
Roller,
Yeah, like a roller lifter cam, or is it just?
it's the easiest way I say this is that once you get past the initial cost, there's no downsides to it. It's all positives. The thing about the flat tappets these days, you've got to run brake in oil. Keep it, sorry about that. Brake in oil. You've got to run additives in the